What's going on, Hobby Link International? My name is Ben and welcome back to another episode of Ben Builds the B-Wing. Today we're going to be moving on with paint, primer, pre-shade, all that good stuff. We're going to get this B-Wing painted up and hopefully that's going to look awesome. I want to go ahead and hook in the S-foils as well, get a little bit closer to having this thing completed. So you can see we've got our power already in there, so the electronics are mostly finished. We don't have to fool around with those anymore. So now we can go ahead and concentrate on paint. And speaking of paint, I've been going ahead and comparing the original set of instructions with our inserts for the special edition, and I really can't find any huge discrepancies when it comes to paint. All the colors tend to be pretty similar. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to use the pictures here and use what I find online, and I'm going to go ahead and just come up with my own colors, something that will closely match what we have here in the instructions. I'm not going to use their exact mixture or ratios. I'm just going to look through my paint stash, find some colors that look good, and go with that. So I think that'll work out just fine. A really good way to go ahead and match up your colors is to look at the decals. Now the decals are supposed to be the colors they call out for here in the instructions, so all we have to do is find something similar that will actually work. And right now we're taking a look at this kind of blue-gray color, and I think I'm going to go ahead and go with RLM 76. I actually have a Vallejo color that is that right there. It's that German blue for Luftwaffe aircraft, and I think that is very, very close. It's not exactly perfect, but I'm okay with it being close. Doesn't have to be exactly screen accurate. So that should work just fine. So let's go ahead and jump into our first time lapse here, and I want to focus on the canopy first. I want to go ahead and mask off the clear parts, come back in and paint the cockpit framing, get that all squared away. And then I want to start doing some priming. I want to do some panel line pre-shading with native black, and then I want to go ahead and add some contrasting panels of different colors like desert yellow and Tamiya buff. So let's go ahead and jump in, see what we can do. Let's start having some fun. All right, everybody, so we are back, and as you can see, we have a very strange looking B-Wing. We've got a bunch of different colors here. We've got buff, we've got desert yellow, we've got our pre-shade with NATO black. We went ahead and primed everything with our Mr. Surfacer, thinned out with Mr. Leveling Thinner, and so far so good. I'm loving that priming technique. So now we're going to go ahead and move in to the top color. And the top color, I'm actually going to choose something that's already out of my paint stash. And this is going to be Mr. Color number 311. The FS number is 36622. It looks more white than it does gray, but it's got a little bit of a yellowish gray to it. So I think having some pre-shade of that buff and the desert yellow is going to really help to kind of pop different panels, and it should give us a nice contrast. So let's go ahead and jump back into the time lapse. I want to work on the top coat of that whitish gray, and then I want to go ahead and start doing some masking and apply my RLM 76 and even maybe some extra dark sea gray for different parts and pieces. So let's go ahead and get back into that time lapse, guys. We are really moving today. This thing is starting to look like a B-Wing. I couldn't be happier. All right, let's keep it rolling. Let's apply our top color. All right, everybody. So we are back and the B-Wing is coming along. The paint is off camera drying right now, and so far so good. I'm loving how the shades are kind of jumping out at you. I really like the colors that I chose for the B-Wing. They're not exactly screen accurate, but I'm okay with that. I do like having accuracy, of course, but this is a sci-fi build, so I allow myself a little bit more leeway when it comes to sci-fi models. I can go ahead and choose slightly different colors, and I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. So now we're going to go ahead and continue along with some of the sub-assemblies. For example, the lower guns, and of course the S-foil guns, those wingtip cannons. So I need to go ahead and start cutting apart the pieces and getting those all assembled. And I got to tell you, there are a lot of parts to those lower guns, and these are some big cannons, and I'm going to have to paint these and then get them installed into the pod. So it's going to be a couple of multi-part steps here. I also want to go ahead and work on the wing cannons as well. So let's go ahead and jump back into a time lapse, finish off this lower gun assembly, and then get onto the wing installations and go ahead and touch all the colors up. And then I want to go ahead and do a little bit of detail painting for the engines. I want to use my Tamiya clear orange, which is a little bit of an amber color. I want to drop a little bit of that clear orange on each of the ends of the engine light pipes. That's going to tint those down hopefully to a little bit more of a yellow color, and I think that's going to be a perfect thing. Then we'll come back and we're going to gloss coat the entire B-Wing with Future. That'll get us ready for next episode, where I'm hoping to go ahead and do some decals and some weathering. So let's go ahead and get back into it, guys. We are almost done for the day. Let's push on, get this thing all armed to the teeth. This should be fun. All right, everybody, we are back. I'm just touching up the last little bits here of our gloss coat. That's going to prepare us for the next episode for weathering and decals, and then of course our final assembly and the base. So let's go ahead and call it quits for today. Thank you so much for joining us here on episode number 4. We did a lot of work today, guys, a lot of painting done. Next episode, I want to go ahead and come back in, do some weathering, work on that base, and I think we'll be ready to go ahead and hopefully call it quits on episode number 5. But until then, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you like what you saw, head over to my channel at Ben Builds. I've got a couple other builds just like this, so hopefully you guys can stop on by, check it out, and we'll see you back here on episode number 5 for Ben Builds the B-Wing here on HobbyLink International. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care of yourselves, and we'll see you soon.